Oh, yeah, there it is. So, yeah, we'll do, all right, little 3-minute. And then he does as soon as that ends.
Oh, that's, I got it. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I watched, yeah. Well, other than that, wasn't Don Lemon. Trevor got all pissed at him.
Oh, did he?
Somebody, it was either Don Lemon or somebody. We got it. We're good. Wait, my headphones are busted. That's all my fault. We're all thrown off a little this morning, but welcome on in, everybody. And as we get rolling for this Cavs coaching search, when you make a big decision, you want to solicit for a lot of advice. You want to talk to a lot of people, get their take on things. With the Cavs this offseason and their head coaching search, we got the first two up. How much do you look around to Donovan Mitchell? He is a guy, he is the most important figure for your organization, but he's not signed here yet. He's not here for the long term. Would you go all in hiring a coach that would appease Donovan Mitchell? Is this borderline LeBron level, which we've been through for a long time here in the city of Cleveland? Do you give him the choice? Do you give him the opportunity to weigh in? I'm not saying sitting in the meetings, but just give you that little wink and nod if you like this guy over that guy. That's something I think Kobe Altman might need to do with his star player to try to get him to sign that contract to stay here in the city of Cleveland. So we do have the first two up for the Cavs. Guards drop a tough one last night. Yes, they're going to need some starting pitching on the way out. We'll discuss some guards. I've got power rankings. I've got an insane idea that somebody posted this morning on CBS Sports when it came to the MVP award in baseball. We'll get to that. OTAs out in Berea get prepared for 1,000 videos of zip when it comes to Deshaun Watson. We'll get to that. We got the grid. We got the morning update. We'll dive into timeout. We got it all right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Nick Padone. Nick, good morning. Welcome on in, man.
Good
I
morning,
appreciate you
Matt.
coming in. It'd be easier for me to list the shows that Nick doesn't do on Big Play. So, obviously, Big Play Cleveland show.
Yeah.
You've got Booby's World.
Yeah,
You've got Big
sometimes.
Play Big Bets.
Yep.
You've got...
That's it.
That's it. All right, so it's, it sounded bigger than it is. But
Yeah.
Padone, a big part of us here at Big Play. I appreciate you coming in this
I
morning,
know.
man.
This is my first time. This is my Matt Fontana show debut.
It's going to
So
be a great show.
Good to be here. I like that Ryan kind of ran through the Rolodex of people that he could have called before me. And Bohm is out of town. You know, our Pat couldn't come in this morning either, who's kind of a fill-in producer here. So everybody's stuck with me this morning.
Well, no, we're happy to have you. We would not have a show without you because I've talked about this a little bit. Like in my prior job, I started in the basement. So I knew how to do everything. I could run the board. I could do tech. I could do all. Bro, I came here and that stuff to me, it's like I could not sit down and get this show on the air. Like Ryan was like in the winter, a couple times he was a little late because he was, stuck in the snow. And I was like, I don't even know what button to push. I've become that old man where I was like, I don't even know what button to push. So we would not be on the air this morning without you, Padone. So I appreciate you coming in.
All good.
You're
Glad to
excited.
be
I'm
here.
excited for you to do the morning update. You said you got some off the wall stories.
I got some off the wall. You know, I
Nice.
feel like we're gonna hit Browns, Cavs,
Oh, yeah.
Guardians enough. So we'll get into some off the wall type stories. I got a couple that I think you're really gonna be a fan of.
I can't wait. That'll be 10 o'clock this morning. Padone is here to help the grid. We're on a pretty good streak with the grid, so we'll finish that out, and we'll dive into a little bit of time up. So we got our big Cavs news yesterday. The first two head coaching interviews are up. They're going to go with Kenny Atkinson, who I feel like is probably the favorite right now, and then James Borrego. And again, I would say probably the 1 and 2 favorites. And I think the Cavs doing it that way kind of signals to me, let's start with the two that are the front runners. And I know when these coaching searches, and we've been through how many with the Browns, and like I'd say this town is actually pretty up on how coaching searches go. You start with the heavy. You start with the 2 or the 1 that you feel like is it. Kobe Altman's very smart. He has been in the NBA his whole life. He's kept this list. Every good general manager keeps that list. And, dude, here's the thing. Even in Kansas City with the Chiefs, it's Andy freaking Reid. They got a list. And apparently Eric Bieniemy was not ever on that list. That's why he's not there anymore. But, you keep that list because it's people you've kept your eye on, and it's a little like scouting for players, but you're doing it for coaches. So Kobe Altman has kept this list, and I'm sure it ramped up over the last couple of months when it really became apparent that they were going to move on from JB Bickerstaff. So if you look at it from that standpoint, and you start with, I would say, again, these two being the favorites, I like with them getting out of the gate. Because then you can go through the rest of your interviews and say, is somebody going to knock these guys off the pedestal? Is somebody going to overtake these two as our favorites? And it sounds like, and even Woj put this in the tweet, there's going to be expansive search. Is that not always put on what they say? Like every search, this is going to be a real expansive search. We're going to take our time on these searches. And they hire somebody in a week. They're like, oh, we're going to go far and wide. And I know there's a lot out there about really going out there for Dawn Staley or Kim Mulkey or something like that. I don't.
You like that Kim Mulkey clip that went out there this week?
I just
and people kind of got crazy. Gab asked me for my most out of the box option.
You gave her an out of the box option.
Out of the box.
Yeah. And I think with Becky Hammond, certainly of what she has shown in the NBA, I'd like to live in that world. I'd like to live in that world that there will be a female head coach in football and in baseball and in basketball. I don't know right now. And I think it's, a lot of people have takes on it and things like that. It's just, can we talk about that for a second? You got to go to those players in the locker room. And this is not meant to be misogynistic or sexist or anything like that. You're going to would she be able to command respect? And you would hope so. You'd have all these accolades, all the jobs that she has done, the amazing coach. Like when you come back to it, coaching is something that you're either really good at it or you're not. Like it's a skill, it's a talent. And there are a lot of women out there that have checked all these boxes. It's just the ultimate question and that elephant in the room. Would she be able to walk into a room filled with professional millionaire male basketball players and command that respect? I hope so one day. Don't know if we're there yet. So as they do this expansive search, it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if you sat down and talked with one of them. You start with Borrego, you start with Atkinson, who I do think Atkinson a little over Borrego. Here's my take on that, Nick. With the situation the Cavs are in, you can't hire a rookie head coach. You cannot hire somebody that is also then learning on the job. Now, I sit there to say you could have somebody come in here, a retread, so to speak, and that doesn't go great because they're maybe stuck in their ways, or you don't want somebody that walks into a room and flashing rings and, oh, you know what I did 20 years ago. Nobody cares what you did 20 years ago. And even with Kenny Atkinson, it's not like he was a head coach last year. It's been quite a little while since he's gotten back into the game as a head coach. But he's been there. He's been in the playoffs. He's at least has that base. So that's where I lean more about him. Now, if you think about what the Cavs and maybe even what Kobe has said in some of his interviews in the exit, of the one clip that always got me, when he tried to say, like, things weren't broken with JB. And I was like, something had to have been broken if you're not bringing him back as head coach. But it's a situation that this team needs to go now. They're ready to go now. We know the impending trades that'll happen. You have Donovan Mitchell for now. I can't have somebody coming in here learning on the job. I can't have, and there's little just nuanced things. I need experience. Now, what ideally you would have liked to have had was JB right. Like, there's two schools of thought. You build it up to a point. It's It's Steve Kerr, Mark Jackson, right? Where Mark Jackson got you to this point and you need somebody to take it on over. Now, Steve Kerr was a first-time head coach. Was he not the first-time head coach with the Warriors? He was. So that was one that took a leap of faith, but obviously has worked out. So maybe you capture that if you wanted to go with Borrego or something like that. But I also think about, you have somebody that there's a little bit of like a semblance of calming to it, to be like, hey, this is a guy that's been through it. But if you want to go to fix problems or try to get this offense back where it goes, that's where you might lean to a younger guy. The other thing I was going to say about the younger guy, what you'd like to is them go through the rebuild with you. I think any of us would have loved for JB to have been the guy, right? He went through his trials and tribulations. He made his mistakes. I know he had his time in Houston prior, but really went through it all here, built it up, calloused it up, and you're off to Eric Spoelstra type level, right? You love that. Well, that's not what happened here. And now you have a team that is teetering. I think it's a lot closer, Nick, than some people understand. You are on the teeter of falling back to where the Pistons are at. You're on a teeter of falling back into the lottery. Now, the other side is what you want. You're on a teeter of getting close to the Eastern Conference Finals and going to a finals. Where this hire goes and this shift, it's gonna push you one way or the other.
And that's why I think I'm so nervous about this hire. And not that I wanted the Cavs to bring back JB Bickerstaff, but the point is exactly yours, Matt, that they can't afford to take a step back with this hire. Like, JB got you through the normal progressions of what you want a normal NBA coach to go through. Play in, play off, first round, playoff, second round. And obviously a lot of that wasn't JB. A lot of it was the players,
right.
And Donovan Mitchell overcoming some heroic things. I agree that a rookie head coach probably isn't the ideal situation because Donovan Mitchell and all the reports say that, the players think that they're ready to win right now. Like, they're championship mode right now. But, like, is Kenny Atkinson really getting them that excited? Like,
That's a great question.
Kenny Atkinson, James Borrego, like, could they get these guys?
And I should make that. Borrego was a head coach. He was in Charlotte, but the thing is, he never made the playoffs. In his 5 years, did not have a winning record. So I didn't do a good job talking about that. Where I'm saying about Kenny Atkinson, regular season is one thing. I'm talking about the playoffs, and where did JB really probably cement his future was what he did in the playoffs. Now, again, Kenny Atkinson's not walking here like Phil Jackson saying, look at all these things that I did in the playoffs and things like that. So at least when you start with Borrego to say, okay, you've had some experience, I'm talking about more, he's never been to a playoff series. That coaching is the most important. How do you handle a 7-game series? How do you make those adjustments there and what you're going to do? So, again, starting out with these two, great. Do you want to know something else that I really love? Get JJ Redick to LA. Go ahead. Please go. because Borrego is interested there too. Make that high, which everybody thought that was going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but there's reports that JJ's out there already talking to guys about coaching opportunities and coming to his staff and all that kind of stuff. Good. You don't want a curveball in this thing. You don't want some sort of out of left field thing screw up what the Cavs are doing. You assume J.J. Redick is going to go there. Now it's down to you and the Wizards. That's it. They're the only two teams that don't have a head coach.
The Wizards hired a coach yesterday, man.
Oh, they did? I missed that.
They hired their interim.
Good.
So the Cavs
Done.
are in. The Cavs
So
are in.
literally everybody's on. Oh, good.
The guy
Didn't
that
even
won
see that.
8 games. Yeah, that's probably why you didn't see
That's
it. The
probably why I
guy
didn't
that
see
won
it.
8 games was named the permanent
Even
head
the
coach of
Wizards
the
weren't
Washington
happy
Wizards.
about that. They're like, yeah, we're going to make this hire.
Yeah.
All right, good
Which
job. Yeah.
I fear that kind of tells you something about the status of the coaching candidates that are out there,
That's a good
that
point,
they just
too.
decided to, stick with the status quo that they had and, felt confident enough in what he had built in Washington.
Yeah.
There's a small piece of me today, because I know we had the news yesterday from Woj, from Shams, that, that this is when the search is really on. They're going to bring Atkinson in. They're going to bring Borrego in. I feel like now, or at some point, Thursday, Friday, maybe it's over the weekend, that we have that other shoe drop, that we start hearing about some of those other wild card candidates, Matt, the J.J. Redicks of the world. Say they go ahead and hire James Borrego and kind of surprise some people. It wouldn't shock me if Dan Gilbert brought J.J. Redick in here for an interview. It wouldn't surprise me if they brought some other wild card candidates in here for an interview, because that's what they do. And Dan doesn't love the retread coaches. Like, the only reason that they hired Byron Scott was because he couldn't get Tom Izzo away from Michigan State.
But remember, they hired Byron to think that was going to appease LeBron, right? You're right. That didn't work either, right? And that gets back to our other topic we'll get to about Donovan Mitchell in a minute.
And I think, too, like, the Lakers should probably think about that as well. You're like, don't make the J.J. Redick hire now just because you think you're going to appease LeBron, because that's failed twice. Remember when LeBron told the Heat that he wanted them to draft Shabazz Napier?
Yeah.
And then he left and came to Cleveland. So LeBron is very fickle with what he wants until he ultimately makes up his mind.
It's a giant game. It's all about your posturing. You bring up Dan Gilbert. That is the other kind of X factor in this. You don't have a salary cap for a head coach. You have one of the richest owners in sports. And if he really wants J.J. Redick to sit down and slide a check, to go ahead and write a little number on a piece of paper and slide that on over, if you gave him a number that he could not refuse, you could have J.J. Redick. You could. Now, do you want him? I don't know. I don't know.
If that happened, in a world where that happened, I'm going to be unbearable, because you kind of know what that means, or at least you could imply what that means.
He's not coming back.
All right.
He's not coming back.
Right.
Ryan and I have, and again, you and I have talked about it, but just for the essence of the show here, he's not coming back. Tell me what, you think so? Ryan thinks that that it's an inevitability. He thinks this is Thanos level stuff, that he is just going to come back to Cleveland.
I don't think that it's an inevitability at all. But I think there's a good fraction of a chance that that the Lakers mess this thing up. I really think.
That's me doing my parlays on Typical. There's a fraction of a chance here, Nick.
This one goes in.
This one's going to go.
Yeah.
It's plus 1100, it's plus 11,000, but, there's a fraction of a chance.
I do, because I think he's kind of giving you the typical LeBron signs. And a lot of it could be leverage, because I've seen that conversation too. The coming sitting courtside at Game 4. Like, that was totally leverage.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. But I think that's the thing, that he's been doing this for 2 decades now. And that means he's been public with it for 2 decades. So we start seeing signs. He's distanced himself from the Lakers search. He says, he came courtside to the Cavs for Game 4. He could have gone to Indiana. He could have gone to
Miami in that first round. He didn't go there in the first round, did he? You're right.
He came to Cleveland. So I do think that the window is open. I mean, he said when the Cavs hosted the All-Star game in 2022 that he's never completely shut the door on a return to the Cavs. I think you got to take him at his word with that. So I certainly don't close it out, especially now that we're hearing some reports that Dan is more involved with the organization than he's ever been. Like, if Dan wanted to make it happen, he probably could.
And that's the thing. We're going to talk Donovan Mitchell this morning, because I do want to post this on Twitter. You can follow us at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on Twitter, X. We're also on YouTube. We stream on Twitch every morning as well. And the IG is at Matt Fontana Show as well. Do you want Donovan Mitchell involved in the Cavs head coaching search? Simple yes or no. Simple yes or no. Brian Windhurst did some reporting yesterday over at ESPN Cleveland, and he said Mitchell is. He's going to be a part of this. Do you want Donovan Mitchell to be a part of this Cavs coaching search? And it's not that he's sitting in the room with James Borrego and going, hey, man, what do you really like to run here? Or what do you think about this? But it's just keeping tabs on it with Kobe Altman. Now, you mentioned Dan Gilbert. I think that is another great point, that this is the most involved Dan's been in a couple of years. Certainly a health scare, the passing of his son. If he feels like it's time to get back in there, I actually really like that. I do. You know, and I'm going to use the term meddling owner because I can't think of anything else. That gets such a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to sports, because you think about owners that, you know, it's Josh Harris guy with the Commanders, right? He's at Topgolf with these guys and whatever. But Dan Gilbert is a guy that has done this now for what? Almost 20 years, coming up on 20 years. He has won you a championship. He's seen a lot of different head coaches and front office people, some good, some bad. He's seen the changes. That is a guy, not only because he has a right to be involved because he owns the team, I want him involved. I want him there with Kobe Altman. Now, the other thing about Altman is, for the people out there that are a little concerned about his job status or feel like Kobe's not catching enough flack for all this, Nick, would it be hard to sit down there and go, do you really want to put all your eggs in the basket of even a GM that you're not all in on?
Yeah.
Now Dan's got to act like he's all in on Kobe Altman because they didn't have a choice. You can't fire the coach and the general manager in the most pivotal offseason the Cavs have had in almost a decade, right? You can't do that. So you got to act like you're all in, but really, if you gave Dan Gilbert a little bit of truth serum,
yep,
how much in is he in Kobe Altman? So then do you sit there and say, all right, I'm going to weasel my way into this a little bit. Like, I'm going to be the one actually making it, because then the power struggle's on, or really you don't want the optics out there of you're stepping on your GM. Like, you need to let Kobe Altman make this hire.
And if you gave Nick Padone a little bit of truth serum, I would say the exact same thing.
We call that garage beer.
Yeah, true. Dan Gilbert probably feels that way, you know, and is getting involved because who knows, you know, what Kobe Altman really is. And they've bungled these last few searches. I mean, these last few searches that, you know, they didn't hire an internal candidate, John Beeline, David Blatt, who, like, okay, that was working a little bit, but that's
a great point. Thank God you had Ty Lue and JB on the staff. Thank God they were there.
A stroke of luck. Really, it is. It feels like a stroke of luck. And I think that Dan being involved is the ultimate wild card. That's why I don't think we can sit here today and just have the conversation of, okay, it's Kenny Atkinson, James Borrego. Those are the two known names.
Yeah.
I think it could get way crazier soon. Who knows if it does?
Yeah.
Who knows if maybe in his later years, you know, maybe Dan's kind of settled down. Maybe he's understands the way that the NBA operates, that sometimes making those big swings don't work. But Matt, you tweeted it when Kobe gave that press conference. He straight said in the press release when they fired JB Bickerstaff that sometimes you need aggressive, risky moves in order to compete for an NBA championship. And I think they look at everything. They leave no stone unturned this offseason when they're looking at trades, when they're looking at potential coaches, just because they know just how important this next year and a half, 2-year span is for the future of this organization.
Part of that future is Donovan Mitchell. Our question this morning, do you want him involved? And I'm just going to flat out, straight up give you my answer right now, and that answer is yes. Is Donovan Mitchell to the level of LeBron James? Of course not. But for right now, he is in that role. And you would say, just like the Pelicans, right? Should the Pelicans consult Zion Williamson? Yeah, actually, they should. That's something about the NBA. When you have a person in that role, and again, I'm not saying he's to the level of Jokic or LeBron or even Kevin Durant, right? But if they're your star player, you got to keep them up. And people talked about that with Watson when they hired Ken Dorsey and how involved they should. Yeah, you want to keep them up to speed here because that is the franchise. And the NBA, more than any sport, I feel like, well, baseball, a little bit. Basketball, you see these coaches get turned over so quick. Now, you got your legacy guys, Kerr and Spoelstra and Pop and all that kind of stuff. Look at that coach you got left in the finals, right? Where'd Joe Mazzulla come from? Took it over after the Ime Udoka thing. Jason Kidd's a former failed head coach. Look at him now in Dallas, right? Chris Finch is off on the sidelines because he tore his knee up and he's sitting there having his assistant out. It's important. I'm not saying it's not. But that in the NBA, will always be more easily remedied than having bad players. So I've got to lean towards having good players. And if it leans towards something like this, potentially keeping Donovan Mitchell around, I'm doing it. I'm doing whatever I can to keep him here. Because if you don't have him, you're wasting your time. And if Donovan says, I'm leaving, you're in a full rebuild. Well, not full rebuild, but a rebuild. Here's the other thing. Why not take his advice, hire the coach, and even if he left, if the coach doesn't work, you make your move. You do something else. How quick was it for the Bucks? They go, this ain't working. We're going to go over here. We're going to go. I don't want Doc Rivers here, but like they got rid of Adrian. Like you see these coaches get moved so much, even so much so, like coaches that I think are really good. I think Nick Nurse is so good. He was out of a job after winning a championship, right? Budenholzer, out the door. Like how many Super Bowl winning head coaches in the NFL are out of that job within 3 years? That's a short. Sean McVay, still there, right? Like, how many Doug Peterson's probably the most apt example about after what everything happened with the Eagles, and that seemed to be more of a power struggle than anything. But I think he's a good coach down there in Jacksonville. Like, you don't see that. Dude, you see coach, and I'm not trying to rip our Cincinnati guys down there, but if Zach Taylor was a Zach Taylor level NBA coach, he'd have been fired 2 years ago, right? Like, there's just such a difference. The coach is easily fixable. It's more easily fixable. And I guess I keep crapping on it, Nick, to say, like, I don't know how important it is. And X's and O's people tell me I'm crazy. People that follow the league, they tell me I'm insane. But, like, I look at it and I just say, this is stars. You have got to have the roster. Now, a good coach puts the cherry on top, and a good coach, like, you don't win that championship without Ty Lue. I get that. And the relationship that he built with LeBron and all that kind of stuff, 100%. But in this scenario, I don't see any negative. And I'd love this in the Twitter inbox. At Matt Fontana Show. You can tweet at Matt Fontana83. Nick is at just at Nick Padone, right? Or Nick Padone 12?
Nick Padone 12.
Nah, I knew there's a number. This is 12. At Nick Padone 12. Tweet me and tell me why you would say it's a bad idea to involve Donovan. And I'll give you one. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. The optics, right? Oh, it doesn't look good that you're holding yourself up for a star player. And then the other side of it, and this isn't to crap on Donovan, he's not LeBron. You know, to hold yourself up to him. But I also don't picture this as like you're sitting down with Donovan Mitchell and he says, hire this guy. And you go, yes, 100% Donovan. Yes, whatever you want, man. We got this for you. No, it's like, well, what do you think? Donovan's smart. And the other thing, Donovan might even say, I don't want to do that. Now, that would inherently scare the Cavs because then they would go, crap, he's leaving because if he goes, yeah, I don't want to get involved. But Matt Johnson, I ain't going to be. What do you think for the head coach here, Donovan?
That's one of my favorites.
I ain't going to be.
I ain't going to be.
I ain't going to be here. We don't want that. But just to solicit a little of his advice, because then that makes him feel like what, Nick? A part of the team, a part of the process here, and that lends towards him hopefully coming back.
And that is the biggest thing, right? And we said that all postseason, that the biggest thing was going to be proving to Donovan Mitchell that the Cavs were serious about winning and winning more than just round one. So I do think it would be a good thing to have him involved, or as involved in the process as he would like to be.
I love that. That's a good point. As much as he wants to be,
and I
be
think
involved
that,
how you want.
Yeah, because I think I'm with you. It's a superstar league. Without Donovan Mitchell, what were the Cavs this year? Probably what they were before he got here. You know, a play-in team, which isn't bad. You know, we've seen play-in teams make some noise, but that's where the coach really makes a difference, you know, when you start talking about overachieving and stuff. So, yeah, we definitely need Mitchell's input on this coaching search, just because if you don't have it and you're truly operating in the dark, then, man, it's that simple. You don't know what he's thinking. Right. And I think that's the scariest place for the Cavs to operate in this summer. They've got to have an inkling of an idea which way he's wavering on this whole thing, because even more important than the coaching search is his decision. And he's not LeBron, but it is a very important domino, because once that domino falls, okay, then what do we make of Darius Garland? You know, what do we make of the pairing of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley? You start having a lot more difficult conversations once he inks that pen to paper. So that's what they got to figure out. It's tough to do, and I know people hate it. I think a lot of fans do hate it, Matt. You know, the idea of Mitchell's going to pick the coach, and Mitchell got JB fired. Because how many times have we seen a superstar player, and I'm not saying that Mitchell's going to do this, but it's a possibility. It's the NBA. Sign that max extension, super max, whatever it's called now, and then 2 years down the line,
Sure.
bolts.
Gone.
And now you're stuck with the coach that he wanted, and he's gone out of town, and that puts you in another weird spot. But you got to operate in the world that you're in now, and the world that you're in now is we should be ready to go try to win this Eastern Conference, which is pretty weak. I mean, Boston had a cakewalk. Like, let's try to make this dude happy.
Here's the funniest thing. I was just looking this up too. If you had to guess who, and this includes an interim stretch too. If you had to guess who has coached more games in the NBA, Kenny Atkinson or James Borrego?
I think it's Borrego.
It is Borrego.
Yeah, he was there he stuck around there for a good handful of seasons.
He was in Charlotte for 4. He had the interim in Orlando. He's actually coached about 30 more games as a head coach than Kenny Atkinson. So here I am talking about, this experienced Kenny Atkinson. Now, he's more experienced because he's been in the NBA for 20 years as an assistant, then got this head coaching chance there with the Brooklyn Nets. The other funny thing, not funny, but it's like, all these reports coming out that, Karis LeVert and Jared Allen are all in for Kenny Atkinson. They were there, and I go, I don't care. I don't know about those guys being ones that you want to look to and be like, what do you think? Because we all just assume Jared Allen's not going to be here. I want Karis LeVert to be here, but he might have to be sweetened in the pot here for a trade to move on. I thought about another question. I want to get your quick take on this. Neither, both. Allen and Garland. Which one gets traded? They both get traded. Neither get traded, which is doubtful. Or just one of the two? If you had to pick, what would you say?
What would I do, or what do I think?
What do you think is going to happen?
I think if Mitchell extends, they're both gone.
They're both gone. I kind of think the same thing. And I'm starting to really think more about this 3-team type of trade thing. And you can do 2 separate transactions. But I think about sitting down, and this is a lot more work. You get 2 other teams. You send Garland to one, you send Allen to the other, you send LeVert as a piece, you use this piece here, and then you bring in 3 guys. I'll tell you this. Of whatever trades the Cavs make, 3. I need 3 players back. I don't give a damn about any picks. I know that I saw this from Chris Fedor yesterday. There was that Australian kid that went to Kansas. He's staying in the draft. He's going to be around that 20th pick. I think his last name is Furpy, which just lends to a lot of funny things that'll be on T-shirts and things like that and whatever. But anyway, like you got your pick this year and make it. I'm fine making it this year. I don't need any picks back. I need players back, and I'm going to say a minimum of 3. If you send out 3, I need 3 back. Is how it's going to have to go for the Cavs. So we'll see how it goes. Want to flip over to ESPN this morning because Tim Bontemps, he basically did a write-up of all the available code. Now, again, Washington got theirs yesterday. So he did a write-up on the Lakers, but he also did one on the Cavs. And I want to read through. And it's basically the state of the franchise and who could get the job. So there's a layout from Tim Bontemps this morning. So as we know, Cavs eliminating the conference semifinals, got rid of J.B. Bickerstaff. Kobe Altman is your lead executive. The state of the franchise from Bontemps. Bickerstaff led the Cavs to a winning record in 3 straight seasons, was let go after last year's first-round loss to the Knicks, and, of course, what happened this year in the playoffs. This team is well-positioned for the next several years. 3 of the team's 4 young pillars, Garland, Mobley, and Allen, are under contract. Well, Donovan Mitchell is extension eligible this offseason. Oh, he is? I didn't know that. Max Strus, George Niang brought shooting at times and veteran leadership, and Isaac Okoro showed some offensive growth this season while remaining a plus wing defender. Despite the Cavs' small market, writes Bontemps, owner Dan Gilbert has shown throughout his tenure he will spare no expense to deliver winning basketball to Cleveland. If this team remains in contention, it's unlikely any players will be lost because Gilbert isn't willing to spend. That's not your issue. If you were in baseball, we'd be the Yankees, okay? We would have all 5 of these guys here and LeBron on a max deal. It'd be great. Not the world that we live in. Meanwhile, the biggest question mark in Cleveland is whether Mitchell's going to sign that extension. If he doesn't, Cleveland's Kyrie Irving situation from a few years ago should serve as a reminder that Gilbert won't likely allow Mitchell to walk in free agency. That ain't happening. They're trading him. If he says, I'm not signing, he's out the door. You're trading him. Bontemps continues, though. If Mitchell returns, there's at least some question about the direction of the roster. 2 small ball-dominant guards, Garland, Mitchell, and 2 non-shooting bigs, Mobley and Allen. Which set of players have overlapping skill sets? Will Cleveland's new coach believe they can make them work, or try to push them in a different direction? That last part is most interesting to me. when you sit down with Kenny Atkinson, James Borrego, when you sit down with these guys, do you present them with what would you do to make this work, or what move would you make? Like, I think it'd be so interesting to pick the brains of your potential head coach to go, could you see a world that it works? Because a lot of times I just picture head coaches sitting down and they run through the roster and they go, I love that guy and I'm going to get the most out of that guy. Or, I've got offensive sets that are really made for Max Strus. Like, I'm going to get the most out of that guy. But conversely, they could sit down and go, I'm just picturing this. You sit down with James Borrego and he goes, you know what? I actually would get rid of Darius Garland. Like, I don't think that works. Or what I have seen of this team and coached against you guys, I know you don't need him, or we need this. Like, I think those are maybe the more interesting conversations, moreover than, what offensive sets are you running, or what are you going to do on defense? And it's also extremely apparent you got to fix the offense. When it got to a point that you had players calling out JB for the offensive sets that he was running and putting them in bad spot, Nick, that's got to be a number one. That's got to be a number one. You got to get an offensive coach in here to fix. Now, again, you got to shoot. You got to have guys that have skill. I get all of it. But it's more on the offensive side. But do you sit down with these guys and you go, what would you do? Play a little fantasy GM here. Like, what if we brought you in? What would be your prerogative? To keep these guys and knowing that you can't keep all of them, you're going to have to move somebody. Or what idea? Because the thing is, Kobe Altman's sitting here with a wish list, right? Not a wish list, but like an ordering of things. And I'm just going to say, like, his first one might be like, yep, I feel like we have to trade Darius Garland. That's my number one answer to fixing our problems. And if he sits down with Kenny Atkinson and Kenny Atkinson says, yeah, my number one thing would be trading Darius Garland, then they're going to go, okay, this guy's on the same page with us. He sees the same thing. And I know there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat, right? There's a lot of ways to fix the issues with the Cavs. But what you got to do is pick one and have everybody in on that and go forward with it. I'm with you, though, Nick. I think both those guys find their way out of... Not like they're running out of... They didn't throw their mitts over the net. And then go in post-game and go, I play on the trash team in the MLB, Jorge Lopez. How do you do that? For those that don't know, Mets reliever, he got ejected. Then he threw his glove over the stands, into the stands, and then in postgame said that he's playing on the worst team in Major League Baseball. He was DFA'd today. And he was
DFA'd last night.
Oh, he was out of there. They go, you can pack your crap and get out.
Yeah.
So it's not that with Jared Allen and Darius Garland, but I think they're both going to go. I flipped. I'm just glad Ryan's out here for this. We're going to send him the clip. For a long time, I felt like Donovan wasn't coming back. I'm starting to feel like he is now. Yeah. And I was maybe guarding against it, Nick. I was more of like afraid, like I'm going to put all my eggs in the basket. He's leaving, so that I'm not disappointed. I feel like the needle is back towards he's going to stay. But your coaching hire is important, but make no mistake, it is much more important about what you do with these trades for what it means for the team and also for what it says to Donovan Mitchell.
Fit is my word, man. Everything needs to fit because, like,
what's Kevin Love up to? Get him back up here. Let's go.
On the court, the Cavs did not fit. I mean, there were so many times where Allen and Mobley didn't fit. Garland and Mitchell didn't fit. JB didn't fit because he really wasn't calling offensive plays. Like, my favorite meme was like that one where JB's like holding up the clipboard and it's just like a happy Donovan Mitchell shooting the ball in the basket. Like
I was thinking the water boy when he sit there and he goes, Bobby can't do this all himself. And then they all walk away and they go, Bobby, you're going to have to do this all yourself because nobody on this team is any good. Like,
that was the Cavs during the playoffs last year. So that can't happen again. And that's the biggest thing is how do you ensure that doesn't happen again? And that's finding the right fit. I don't know how did it get to that point. I'm glad it's not me, doing those interviews and finding out which coach wants what, which guys could be traded. How do the coaching candidates feel about that? And that's why when I think Woj and Shams say that this is going to be an expansive process, it's going to take a long time because this is some pretty heavy stuff. Yeah. Like, this really isn't like a decision that you could make in a vacuum. I know that they have a list of guys, and they told you too, I thought it was funny, like, we're going to take the weekend, we're going to take the Memorial Day weekend to settle and think about this. Guys, they didn't. Like, they had their list ready to go. But they gotta talk to these guys and find out how the fit works, because if it doesn't, then that's not the right candidate.
The other thing is there is no beat you over the head number. There isn't Mike Budenholzer. If Mike Budenholzer was still available, I'd be screaming every day on this show to hire Mike Budenholzer. If Nick Nurse, like, that's the thing. I wish they were.
Oh.
There is nobody that is just and it's a bad pun and I apologize, but there's no slam dunk hire here. There's nobody that you look at and you go, man, this guy's got everything you're looking for here. So it's, again, do you go Atkinson? Do you go Borrego? I think those two guys are the front runner for a reason. The other thing on the timeline, quick, you do got to start. I don't want to say they got to do it tomorrow, but you got to eventually start working these trades. I'm sure Kobe Altman's not getting a lot of sleep right now. But, like, I don't think you make trades until you get your head coach in place. Or could you? Like, that's an interesting dynamic, right? Like, do you want, like, let's just say
you got to have the coach first.
You bring Borrego in and say, these wheels are already in motion. Like, we're already trading away Jared Allen. We're already trading away Darius Garland. Or do you bring him in and say, okay, what do you want us to do here? Or what could we do? And the trade, the offseason's coming up and Donovan's extension deadline and all that kind of stuff. Or at least when it opens, they can offer to him, I should say. But I think you want to get these things buttoned up, and also to just keep showing Donovan Mitchell that this is the future, that this is where we're going with some things to help him make his decision. He's not going to make an ill-informed decision. You want all the information. He's going to make the best decision with all the information that he can. That being said, though, he doesn't have all of it right now. So our Twitter question is up, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. Do you want Donovan Mitchell involved? Do you want Donovan Mitchell involved in the coaching search? I'm without a doubt yes. Nick, your vote, please.
Yeah, I'm yes as well. You need him involved. He's your superstar that you have right now. You got to value his input. I also think, too, Mitchell is a guy that's been around the block enough where he probably has a good idea of what works in the NBA. He had a good idea that what JB Bickerstaff was doing offensively did not work. I think his input is more valuable than some are led to believe. We got over 125 votes on the Twitter machine at Matt Fontana Show. 64% of people saying yes, they want Mitchell involved.
That's fair.
35% of people saying that they don't want him involved.
I've got a comment here from somebody that says you don't want to go back to the LeBron. Why would I not want to go back to the LeBron era? Now,
I want to go back to the LeBron era.
We all do. Now, the point I think that's trying to be made here is you don't want somebody like holding your franchise hostage, so to speak, or holding it up, and then if they leave anyway. But here's the thing. I think Donovan knows that he's not in that situation, too. Donovan Mitchell, what does Donovan Mitchell want? He wants the best chance to go win a championship, right? And maybe that's somewhere, I don't know. And that's the thing. You talk about Donovan, looking at that landscape. When you look out and across and you see who would really have a spot for him, and again, from a salary standpoint, from a fit standpoint, what other options really are out there where you could stay in Cleveland, you own the team, you are the face of the franchise, he does like it here, he likes his teammates, and you got a guy that could turn into something with Evan Mobley. The only thing I thought about with Darius Garland, it seems like him and Donovan are pretty tight and close.
Yeah.
Now, enough to a point that Donovan would be like, do not trade him. Heard that from a star player here in Cleveland before. How'd that go?
That's interesting.
Like where if he said, this is my guy, and even if Donovan sat down and said, listen, I know he had a really tough year. I see something in him. Or I know he's not there. And he's been here for 2 years. He'd have that vibe.
Yeah.
But then that's the toughest piece of this pie is trying to fit all of that together with the Mobley rookie extension. Even if you got Allen's money off the books, that's only $20 million over the next 2 years, 20 each. But that's not enough to suffice for Donovan Mitchell. You're into the apron, and I know Dan doesn't mind spending. The problem is the new CBA, you're penalized from the mid-level exception and all this other stuff that now hurts you from doing that. Could you have now 3 guys on max deals? Could you have Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell all on max? I'm assuming yes, you can, but then it just kind of pinches you in other points.
Yeah.
And you believe that that's good enough to go. But if Donovan said that, okay, fine. And I don't mean to be somebody that's here keep wishing away Darius Garland and Jared Allen. It's just what I think has to happen.
I also think,
what else is going to do?
I think too, Matt, that there could be a world where the right head coach comes in here. And I don't want to keep saying JJ Redick because I don't know. I don't think JJ Redick's the right coach. I think it's something that's fun to think about, though. I think somebody like JJ Redick could come in here, though, and just sit down with DG and Donovan Mitchell and have that conversation of like, Are we going to make this work? Or does Reddick or Atkinson, Borrego see something in DG that's like, we're going to make you work?
I mean,
you're a key piece here. Like, you're not going anywhere. And that's the conversation that has to be had, coach and GM to player and agent, because that's where all that stuff was coming from, was from Garland's camp, that if Mitchell extends, they don't see that this is a fit. So I think the right head coach paired with a Mitchell on an extension could sit Darius down if they wanted to. That again, if they wanted to, and make something work. If they wanted to, that's the biggest thing.
The other thing, he could just need time off. He could just need to get away. Like the broken jaw, this just could have been the season from hell. Get away, come on back. I know he's got skill. I know he didn't lose his skill overnight. Maybe that's all you need. All right, Guardians, little deficient on the skill last night. Oh, dude. I was so in on Logan Allen last night. All right. Okay. I can't overreact to one loss. It's a long season. And the excitement of that game the other night, great. They're off today. They're at home this weekend. Guardians, okay, fine. But it's just you got to make this trade for starting pitching. Like, and I said that yesterday, Nick, with how this team is playing, you owe it to the fans. You owe it to the players in that clubhouse to go out there and make a move. Do you want to know the other thing that's now changed for me a little bit? You go make that move sooner rather than later. Yeah, I don't need to wait for the trade deadline. The deadline is meant to be the end. It's open. The Guardians could go make a trade today. They could make a trade in 5 minutes from now if they wanted to. And if anything, as the trade deadline gets closer, those prices just start going up, right? Where these teams, these bottom-feeding teams that are going to trade away some starting pitcher, if the Guardians put a decent deal in front of them, it'd be hard to not take the deal. Now, they might sit there and say, well, that deal might go up towards the trade deadline. But at the trade deadline, then you get more players in the game, and you get more teams willing to part with more. I think if you identified somebody, and I don't know who that is, and I got to get somebody, I got a couple people I got to text. Like, there's got to be somebody on some bottom-feeding team. Like Toronto, right? They're getting rid of Bo Bichette, and they want to get rid of Vlad. I looked at Jose Barrios' contract. You ain't getting Jose Barrios. He's like $141 million. That ain't happening. But, like, go find a team that you can get a starting pitcher. And, I'm a big Logan Allen fan. And, Lively's been great, and McKenzie's found a little bit. Bro, you got to do something now. I think you're on this point right now, and we'll get to MLB Power Rankings. You're in a great spot. You're playing great baseball. Your record is awesome. We all know what we're worried about. It's clearly not the bats. You have got to bring a starting pitcher in here. And I would do it within the next couple of weeks. Get them here so they can actually supplement your rotation now. I'm not saying that this is going to fall apart and wins in July aren't going to matter. Give me some wins in June. Let's get some wins in June. And this is now to a point with Cookie coming off the IL, which should be next week. Good news on Gavin Williams. I know he didn't pitch last night. He's pitching tonight. If you get Gavin Williams, even on what he was as a rookie, that's like making a trade. Go make another one. We said this yesterday on the show, Nick. Who's starting your playoff game tomorrow?
I know. I had that conversation with my dad.
Who you walking out there to start your playoff game?
Yeah. And then
let alone two games.
Who are the two guys?
Right,
exactly, who are the two guys
What
after?
are you doing in a 3-game, 7-game series? What are you going to do? You got and the Guardians have done that, right? They've gone out and gotten mid-game or mid-season acquisitions. Some don't always turn out well. Look at Josh Donaldson. This year has got to be a starting pitcher. This one has got to be. And I'm not trying to trade away Manzardo or Jonathan Rodriguez, John Kenzie Noel, who's just raking right now. But you got to part with something. I want it. I'm going to start putting this on today. I need and turn off. I need something now. I'm going to need something sooner rather than later. And I think they're going to start. I wouldn't shock me if you start hearing that they're just poking around. They're starting to see something. Because at the end of the day, too, you need that clubhouse to have a little belief, right? You need these guys where, granted, the other night was fantastic. You hit all those home runs and you won that game. It still shouldn't have been that close. And yesterday, you got smoked and the game was over in the 3rd inning. And one of my favorite things about this Guardians team is their belief and their never give up and never die, and they push it. That's even a game that you're like, okay, this isn't going to go our way. Ain't going to win them all. I understand that, but I'm not seeing what it's just they don't have these overpowering strikeout guys. McKenzie's nibbling. When Logan Allen doesn't have his command, he's going to get smoked that way. If you want to put all your eggs in the basket of Ben Lively, which you pretty much have to do at this point, great. Who else are you going to look at? And again, they'll get Gavin Williams back, which is fine. I think you need to start really pushing the gas here a little bit on trying to find a starting pitcher. MLB Power Rankings up from ESPN. So now, Ryan's usually pretty good about guessing 1 through whatever. You want to give it a shot? Like, who do you think the best team in baseball is from ESPN right now?
Probably Dodgers.
They got bumped down this week.
Did they?
It is the Phillies at
All
1.
right, I could see that.
The Yankees jump up from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
Dodgers down to 3. Baltimore 4.
We got to be right there.
Your Cleveland Guardians are 5. They come up a spot from 6. David Schoenfield. Yes, that Guardians battling the Phillies and Yankees for the best record in majors after 2 months. Who would have thought that? A bullpen that's arguably been the best in the big leagues. A lineup that is shockingly leading the AL in runs scored. Jose Ramirez, after a bit of a slow start, is back to raking and has absolutely destroyed opposing pitchers with runners in scoring position. Isn't he batting 300 with runners in scoring position, something like that? And Schoenfield writes, in fact, the entire team has been hitting with runners in scoring position. They have the best OPS in the majors in those situations. There might be a little smoke and mirrors going with the offense, but given the fast start and dominant bullpen, Cleveland's playoff odds are at 75%. 75% chance to make the playoffs. That's got to be through winning the division. Now, our division's actually like you would get a wild card right now, right? Remember the years where you're like, yeah, you're only getting in if you win the Central. The wild cards are going to the East and the West. Not quite the case right now. But what did Schoenfield not mention there? You're starting pitching. Yeah, the bullpen's great. Ain't going to mean much if you can't get them a lead. And the other thing, you are not getting this length out of your starters. That eventually, you got to pay the piper on that. They'll come home to roost on that. If you're going to only get 4 innings out of your guys, maybe 5 here and there, that bullpen is going to get fried. You can't do that. Can't have Emmanuel Clase out there every other day. Can't have Hunter Gaddis out there every other day. And again, they got a lot of good names. Cade Smith is awesome. He's so good. Henches is fine. Scott Barlow. Whatever. Fine. But, eventually you got to get length. You're going to have to get production from your starting pitching. And I don't know if I see it out of these guys. That's why you got to go make a trade. Brewers are 6. Braves are 7. Royals are 8. They stay right there at 8. You want the write-up from Bradford Doolittle there on the Royals? Just keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him here. He says, as much as the rapid maturation of Bobby Witt into that, he's now basically the rocket of Bobby Witt now being one of the best players in baseball. But he has to cite the Royals starting pitching, which has been the name of their game. Yeah. On a Cy Young leaderboard full of unexpected frontrunners, Seth Lugo is right there, but Cole Ragans, who one of the betting outlets that I watch, for insight and stuff, they love Cole Ragans when he pitches for over strikeouts. Brady Singer aren't far behind. Waka having a little resurgence there. They've been good enough game in and game out that the Royals are competitive. Their rotation is 3rd in B WAR, whatever that is, and 2nd in F WAR. I don't know, give me ERA. They're 3rd in baseball in ERA, starting ERA, and tied for 3rd with quality starts. So they're doing it the opposite of us. And I'm not saying that they don't hit, but if I think we call the Royals, hey, would you guys give up one of your starting pitchers?
Could you imagine?
Did you imagine that?
Isn't it crazy that that's how the Guardians/Indians used to win? Pitching factory, pitching, we could have 5 starters go in the playoffs.
Who's over at the Royals? 3 guys from the Guardians organization. Andre was saying that they took some of the things that the Guardians did. They took it over to Kansas City. Look at him now. Quaratro, whatever his name is, he's their manager. There was a guy in the Indians organization that was on the pitching side. He's over there now, and look what they're doing.
Makes a lot of sense.
Look what they're doing.
I will say I do like that the bats have come around for this Guardians team.
Sure.
It's the best offensive start that we've seen to a season, Matt, probably in a decade. It's
been a while.
It's been a while that through May they've been able to hit the home runs at the clip that they're hitting them.
And even the record, there was some stat about the record, this is the best start through 50 or whatever games it was since 19. 20 something. Yeah, whatever. It's been fantastic. Now, to your point, you're right. They are hitting. They're hitting home runs. And I like this about the Guardians because Vogt spoke about this about Josh Naylor specifically, but I'm going to apply it to the rest of these guys. These are not home run hitters. These are just good hitters that put the bat on the ball. And early in the count, being aggressive. I think that's the other change. Tell these guys early in the count, dude, swing for it. Do it. Make some damage. Impact hits here. And David Fry, like, you're finally seeing some protection for Ramirez and Naylor and even Jimenez. Cannot wait to get Stephen Kwan back. And I know he was slow in minor. I don't give a damn when he's batting in minor leagues. He'll be just fine when he gets back up here. You know what Saturday is? Stephen Kwan jersey giveaway.
Oh, look at that.
I know, because I'll be there. I'm excited. My son's second game, he'll be 3, and it's my daughter's first game. She'll be 1.
That's awesome.
So we got to go get the little plaque. You know, they hand out like a little
you're like my first
certificate.
Game.
Yeah, so we got one for our son. We got to go get one for the baby.
Okay. I might go Saturday too.
I've heard a lot of people are. And tickets, I got tickets like a couple weeks ago. They're still fine. I got them on saying, bro, we're sitting third base line, about 20 rows up. 2 tickets, I think it was like $120 with fees.
That's the best, man.
That's
like,
so good.
And
I snuck some parking in. I found parking.
Oh, that's
Thank
cool.
God, dude, with the kids.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be schlepping them up East 9th. So I found parking, thank God, in the gateway, so I'll be in there. But yeah, I know a lot of people are excited. And plus, it's the 4:10 start on a Saturday.
That's beautiful.
I do like that a lot. That's why we're going. It's the perfect time for us.
Yeah, I'm getting towards that state. My friends still love doing the standing room, and the standing room.
Oh, you're of an age that it works for you, and trust me, even when we go with friends, I want to see that new beer. Have you seen that beer garden in right field?
Cool.
Is it cool?
It's
I haven't
cool
seen it yet,
and it's crazy because it's like not even done. But you could totally see, like the vision for it.
Yeah.
And it is really nice up there.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to the point, Matt, where like, man, and not to say maybe I am just lazy, but like, sixth, seventh inning, yeah, I want to sit.
You want to sit down. I mean, I think that the nice thing of the the thing about the drink rails is it turns into a concert where eventually you just got to start going like this because like. Even if you get there early.
Yep. You find a way to get
You see people taking stuff and putting it on the drink rail.
So annoying.
And you're like, no, I'm cordoning off this section. By the time the game starts, people just start weaseling their way in. And trust me, I like a good beer pyramid, and they all get knocked down eventually, but then that starts taking up spots, and then all your beer cans go over. So the standing room, you got to be in the right mindset to deal with the standing room.
I was there a couple of weeks ago. It was hot.
Oh my God! Don't even start on that. Oh my God, that's the worst. You're just pouring.
We got there early, and it was my girlfriend and I got there early, and my buddies were stuck in traffic. So we were like, "Oh, it's on us now to find the spot."
You're like, dude, stay away from my spot.
Matt, it was packed.
Yeah,
there were no spots, and we were lucky that we bought tickets last minute, so we bought the cheapest seats in the place, and we were gonna stand. So like our seats were like up in the 500s or something. Yeah. We ended up just going to the city.
You bought seats,
we
but
bought
just
seats, but we were gonna stand.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because they don't, and I'm not yelling at the Guardians. I love what they've done with the ballpark, and I think they really have found what the future is. There's a group of people that'll go to seats, take their scorebook, sit down with their Cracker Jack, and they're watching every pitch. There's a bigger chunk of people that they're basically at the bar with a baseball game going on in the background, and they want to be able to get up to the beer garden, they want to get their craft beer, they want to get their garage beer, and they want to stand there and watch. The issue is that they don't ever check tickets. So I'm sure that obviously there's rules on how many people are there, seating and all that kind of stuff. But bro, same thing. I've done that 1,000 times. I just get cheaper seats up there because the standing room is sold out.
Yep, exactly.
And then you get an extra 100 people down there.
And it's just shoulder to shoulder.
Then you got to stand back on some people and all that.
Yeah.
I get it. No, that we went seats, obviously just because of the kids, because they're going to have to. The other thing is, for the 4 o'clock start, you got to go down the third baseline so you're in the shade. I learned that the hard way. We took our son to his first game last year in August. I had center field seats. I'm like, this is great. We made it an inning and a half, and I go, he can't be in the sun anymore. So I have learned on the dad side of things, I will actually much prefer, I will take sitting on the third base side as opposed to like how close I can be. You got to live on that third base side. And part of the bleachers eventually get there, you get roasted. We went to a playoff game years ago before kids. All our friends, it was one of my favorite memories going to a game. It was a playoff game. I think it was a series we ended up losing to the Yankees. It was October. It was 87 degrees in center field, sitting there in the sun. So that's baseball. I don't want a dome. I want that on record for the Browns. I don't want a dome for baseball. I don't want a dome for football either. But there's nuances to getting the tickets. But I think it's Saturday will be a sellout. I'd be
for
shocked.
Sure.
And I know tickets are getting up there too for a lot of people. City Connect jerseys are out and about too. I think they're going to wear those this weekend again.
I got mine.
Did you?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to pull the trigger. They look a lot better than I thought. I can't wait to see them in person because even on TV, they look 1,000 times better on the field than I thought. So I'm excited for that. But I was talking about Quan. I wonder if he'll be back Saturday because it is Stephen Quan jersey giveaway. So maybe he'll be back for that. That'd be a nice little addition to this lineup as the way that it goes. All right, let's get to the morning update. Nick's got a lot of stories he's got to get to this morning. We'll get to the grid. We got time up. We got it all. But folks, Tipico is where it's at. We will get to our wagers at the end of the show. Nick and I will get to our wagers. I always love doing our little, just stats and trends and things for tonight. Kind of leading Minnesota again for some reason, but we'll get to that with Tipico. Folks, code Fontana 150. When you get signed up for new customers, you deposit $150. Now, I know that's a big ask, but you will get it all back with the cash back rewards. It's the best in the system. It's the best in the industry. I'm telling you, there's no games to be played. You get a meter in your account that tells you for the bets that you're placing, you're just getting that money back. And it's not a token to get a t-shirt or get a hat. You want the money back in your account to bet with. That's how it goes. I saw this, Nick, from Tipico. Their top 50 bettors last month got an average of $3,300 back in bonus bet or in cashback rewards. Now, again, that's the cream of the crop there. But I got to tell you, man, I get my $5, every so often as I fill it up, and I'm still winning bets. Here's the thing. We cashed our boost the other day.
That was nice.
That was a nice one, wasn't it? I think I got $60 out of that. That still counts towards my cash back. I want to make that clear to people. It's not like, oh, you only get cash back on bets that you lose, right? The game that people are no. You actually, before the game even starts, if I were to go right now and place my bet for tonight, before the game's even tipped off, I already have my cash back, my percentage back. Like I'm already on my way to my percentage back. No games to be played there. So win the bets, get your cash back rewards, and be bet with Tipico. The boosts are unreal, which I just love. It's so great. We'll get to our, do you want to do a boost tonight for the game?
Yeah.
No, all right, we'll get a boost. We'll send it out. So I don't know if we'll have it for the show by the time they get up, but maybe Nick and I will do a little boost later in the show. Getting ready to go for tonight for Minnesota and Dallas, Game 5. That'll be exciting. Yeah. So that's where it's at, folks. Tipico is the best. I love working them. They're so great. The interface is awesome. The boosts are great. And the cashback rewards, I just tell you, frankly, can't be beat. They just can't be. That's where it is with Tipico. Code Fontana 150. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, I'm excited for the morning update. Nick Scott, we'll get to it next. Fontana Show right here in Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right? Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party. Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
We got the morning update. Nick's got all the stories, including some off the beaten path. Let's get to it. Fontana Show, right here on Big Play.
Alrighty, let's find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Morning update.
There it is. Let's go. It's Nick's first time here on the show, so it's all good, man. I wouldn't know what buttons to do. Here we go.
Alrighty, morning update here on the Matt Fontana Show. Matt, we got Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, back at OTAs today.
Zip it, baby.
He's throwing in front of the media, which didn't happen last week. It'll be Mary Kay Cabot's first time watching Deshaun Watson throw. Tony Grossi's first time watching Deshaun Watson throw since that shoulder injury. Since the surgery, we know that we'll get all the grainy cell phone videos from Berea today.
I know.
We'll be analyzing it.
There are videographers. Like, shout out to Sean and Dan. Like, there's so many people out there with, like, legitimate. I'll wait for the Browns because, like, Matt and all their team, they do a great job. Awesome. Like, yeah, and
My favorite is the super zoom.
I don't knock it. Because that used to be me.
It's hard.
That was my hustle too. Like, I had videos of Deshaun and, you try to get him out there. I understand. And trust me, I'll watch. I'm going to watch, okay? I get it. But I'm also not going to jump into this or that or how far he's throwing. I don't really care that he's throwing. I'm glad that he's throwing. That's fine. OTAs, and I know our guys down in Cincinnati are having an issue with this too about who's showing up and who's not.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't need Joel Bitonio there. I don't need Myles Garrett there. Now, I will say this. I am super happy that Deshaun Watson is there. I am extremely happy that he's there because I think that shows you the progression through the injury. I want this injury flushed out so I can make a decision on Deshaun Watson this season and have no outside factors. I don't want to have to deal with the shoulder. I don't want to have to deal with, like, the offense isn't set for him. Bro, everything's
set.
That's it. And I'm going to enter this season. I'm going to try to be straight down the middle on if Deshaun Watson's our guy or not. And it's going to be his play on the field. It's going to be, I don't care about the second half of Baltimore. Okay, I don't care about Tennessee. I don't care about the games that he played. I know what he was. I know what he's been here. It is all on this season. And really, Nick, I might only give him 4 games, right? Like, there might only be a chunk of this season that will tell the story. I still think, and as I've been saying, I didn't think they were going to restructure his deal because you need to start thinking about that out. I don't want to take the out. I want Deshaun Watson to come out here and throw for 350 freaking yards a game and 5 touchdowns and shut me up and say I'm the franchise quarterback for this team and, frankly, get him an extension after this season. Yep. There's 2 things happening. One of 2 things will happen after this season. You're either signing him to a contract extension or you're cutting him. That's it. That's it. You ain't trading him. Nobody's taking that deal. And I don't think you're leaving this as another worm on the hook here for another season. There will be a decision after the year. It is solely based on how he plays. That's it.
And it all starts with the grainy cell phone.
It all starts with OTAs, Nick.
Today.
Oh, look at that out route. Ooh, did you see that throw over the middle? Ooh,
I'm not doing it.
There was nobody out there. There was nobody out there, Nick, but look at that throw. They were doing that with Caleb Williams. And I know there's pressure inherently on Caleb Williams. I saw videos of him throwing, and they go, ooh, and I go, it was on air. There's nobody out there. Just slow brew. get him back into speed. All good. Get it rolling. That's fine. For the love of God, don't get anybody hurt. Get through OTAs, and we'll move on. And I know that I'm sure I don't know if you guys talked about it on the Big Play show, but like he's changing now with the OTAs, right? They're pushing to get rid of this. Sounds like everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Shelby Harris was on Twitter going, "This is stupid. Nobody wants to do this." So I think that aside, get your work in while you can. He looks fine. I will watch the videos, yes, but I will refuse to make any sort of declaration on. And you want to know what? And not that Kevin Stefanski's speaking today. I think it's coordinator week. So it'll be, Bubba and Jim Schwartz and all that kind of stuff. He's doing fine. Every time Kevin Stefanski's asked about Deshaun Watson, you want to know what his answer boils down to? He's doing fine. That's it. He looks good. That's it. That's all the answer is going to be until it's training camp. And then you can start, give me those joint practices. Give me out to those. Give me a little preseason, and then we'll start talking. For today, nobody get hurt.
Little West Virginia action. Back out there,
Greenbrier.
The
Greenbrier.
Yep. So excited for those updates as they come. Hey, elsewhere around the Shield, the Dolphins and star wide receiver Jalen Waddle agreed on a new deal, 3-year, $84.75 million contract extension, includes $76 million guaranteed. Jalen Waddle is one of the top 5 highest paid receivers in football.
I got to do that. You know me in the cow. I got to do it here. 84 divided by 3, 28 a year. Now, dude, has this offseason also not been like worth up to when people get all pissy on the numbers and that kind of stuff? At 28, here's a little fun. You want to do this? At $28 million per year, just on that, he would be tied for the 4th highest contract in the NFL. Can you name me the top 3 earning wide receivers based on average per year?
So it would have to be guys that were extended somewhat recently.
Correct. One guy on this list extremely recently. Actually, no, the top 2 guys extremely recently.
Did Diggs get an extension in
Houston?
Houston?
No, he didn't. He's 22 and a half. A.J. Brown, $32 million from the Eagles. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30.002. He makes $2,000 a year more than Tyreek Hill, who's third at 30.
Yeah.
So then you slide in Waddle. I think it's interesting that it's the 3-year thing. I think probably for twofold. Number one, they go, hey, we're going to give you this money now. We'll get you a nice fat contract when Tyreek's gone. And certainly for Waddle, you want to keep doing these 1-year deals. Remember when Trevor Bauer, that a-hole, he goes, I'm just going to sign 1-year deals over and over again.
It was funny when he was doing that.
Yeah, right. Now, I think that's actually smart for receivers. I wouldn't do that as a running back. I wouldn't do that as a quarterback. And I know, obviously, wide receivers can tear ACLs too. But, like, where some of these wide receiver numbers are at, I love this deal for Jalen Waddle. 76 guaranteed for 3 years. You get done at, what, 29? How old is Jalen Waddle?
He's not that old.
No, I don't think he's even that old.
Yeah.
Dude, he's 25. He'll get done with his deal at age 28. And be able to dip right back in again. Good for him. Good deal.
I'm going to become an agent. I've changed my mind.
Oh, it's so no joke, man. We looked up the qualifications one time on my prior stop of what it takes to be an NFL general or NFL agent. You want me to do it?
Yeah,
what do you need to be an NFL agent?
I think it's literally just like, and not to downplay agents because they play a critical role, but I think you just need like the NFLPA certification.
Exactly it.
And that's about it.
So here's what it is. To be certified by the NFLPA, agents must first pay a non-refundable application fee of $2,500.
That's a steep application fee.
$2,500, and you don't get it back. Even if you fail, you don't get it back. An undergraduate and a postgraduate degree. So you need a master's or a law degree.
Damn, all right.
Participate in a 2-day seminar.
Okay.
And also pass a written examination.
Okay.
They also, if you start your own firm, you might need a business license within the state of residence.
That's
so if you're in Cleveland, I'm sure you'd go get a business license.
I have a business license.
Oh, well, you got you just got to go get your master's.
Yeah, I got to go get my master's.
Or your law degree, either one.
Or that probably isn't happening, but
okay, these are that is like by the book letter, like you have to do this. But then they say you probably should have some sort of experience get some sort of pool of players that you start to work. That's how a lot of those agents work, right? Like, you gotta find. It's almost be better off if you like had a friend that became a player, and then you pick up as his agent. Then that agent stuff is so word of mouth.
Yeah, because then he just introduces you to his college
and
buddies.
then, like, what you got to start is, like, undrafted free agent guys, and then you don't become Drew Rosenhaus overnight.
Right.
And you want to know something else? It's not even like I'm not saying that Drew Rosenhaus isn't important anymore, but he's been passed up now on some of these other kind of stables. It's almost like a wrestling stable, right? Like these stables, all these. Because then the other game that gets played with agents, some people don't even know the game that gets played. When they call up, let's say Andrew Berry, right? And they go, hey, man, I know you're working on this deal for this player. I need this other guy signed. I need this other guy. He's on the street. He's a mid-level veteran type of guy. You sign him, and I'll play ball with you on this other deal over here. That game gets played, man. Because all these agents, you know what they want? The most amount of guys on an NFL contract, because that's the most amount of money to them, and it looks good to the rest of their guys. When you say, hey, man, you come sign with me, I'll get you a deal. I'll get you deals. I work really well with this team here. And obviously, I worked with Gerard for a long time. Gerard tells me horror stories about some of the agents that he had to deal with. I don't want to name names here. But, like, these guys were it was malpractice. Yep. Like, they screwed him over so bad by either telling him
a lot.
Oh, all the time. Either take this bad deal, or they're not really out there pounding the pavement like they should be to get you a contract or get you a deal out there. So, and Waddle was
WME
right there. Yeah.
Massive agency.
Did Clutch? They're into football now, right?
Yeah,
they're
I
big.
think the Browns might have a few Clutch guys.
I'm sure. I think they do.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, again, I'm not in the NFL. I'll never get there. Are they looking to expand out their entertainment side of things? Fedon and I are available.
I'm sure.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. You become an agent, and I'll become one of your clients.
All right,
How about that?
all right.
Go get your law degree, and you call me when you get that, and I'll join you up over there. All right.
I'll hit up the Kent State bar exam.
There you go.
All right. I have a bizarre story for you as the
it.
morning update continues. And Matt, this might be something that you are familiar with, but I'm not sure the audience is going to be familiar with. The Craig Jones Invitational. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I've not. Actually.
Okay, so Craig Jones is a grappler. He's a
a jiu-jitsu guy?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt.
All right.
He's a coach for Volkanovski.
Okay.
And he's like one of the most prominent grapplers in the game.
Okay.
So grappling as a sport has kind of started to boom a little bit.
Right. What you're talking about, jiu-jitsu is one thing. There is actually like a set rules of It's not wrestling either. Right. I know. Okay. Yeah.
So every 2 years, the Super Bowl of grappling happens in Vegas. It's called the ADCC.
Oh yeah. That's the big jiu-jitsu tournament too. Right.
Huge.
Right. Because Gordon Ryan wins that every year, and he always has some pissing match with one of the other guys or whatever.
So Craig Jones, who's one of the most famous grapplers, he's like the LeBron James of this grappling society, if you will. He's starting his own little Michael Scott paper company, and he's competing against the ADCC in a stance on fighter pay.
Okay.
So he's launched the Craig Jones Invitational. It gets better. It will be the same weekend as the ADCC.
Bad idea.
It will be 2.5 miles away from the ADCC.
Buddy. Bad idea.
And he has completely waged war, Matt, against the ADCC. He is offering now the winner of the ADCC. Each bracket winner wins $10,000.
Not a lot, but
he's paying his participants $10,001 just to show up.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then to win, you get $1 million if you win your bracket.
That's pretty good.
So nobody knows. He was on with Rogan. Nobody knows who's really funding this. Nobody knows. It's probably not going to be
live guys. Probably
it's not going to be profitable.
So here's the thing, because you and I both enjoy MMA. Like we kind of know more of that world. When I brought up this guy, Gordon Ryan is like probably the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the world, right? He's a beast. He's beaten all the ADCC is their version of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right? Where the money is only so much. Gordon Ryan gets to walk around and say that I'm a multi-time over and over again ADCC champion. So the way that a lot of these guys make money is social media following, but they sell a lot of instructional videos too to some people what gets you that is the accolade to say, I won the ADCC, the Abu Dhabi, whatever it is, CC, but it's in Vegas. That's their biggest thing. So it's like this. It's like if a rival football league, or it's like, actually, you know what? I'm screwing up the exact analogy. It's like golf in PGA Tour and Live. I'll give you a bunch of money to come over here, but you can't. Well, I guess they're doing this now. You don't get to go to the Masters. You don't get to win the U.S. Open, even though all these guys are. They're still competing, but that's the exact thing. And there's a huge thing that Flow, like Flow Wrestling, Flow Racing, and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of money to be made there too watching it. I dabble with the UFC. That's pretty much my extent of the knowledge. But the same thing, the UFC got involved. They paid Gordon Ryan to come do a grappling match, like Bo Nickel. Was it Bo Nickel? Somebody who's like pretty good at it. Dude, Gordon Ryan in 2 seconds just destroyed this. I watched some of his matches. It's so...
It's unique.
All right.
So I'm curious.
34. There's a jiu-jitsu gym around the corner from my house, and I have all the time thought about it.
I did martial arts as a kid. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I did martial arts as a kid, probably from like kindergarten through maybe a little bit before 8th grade.
So we signed up for karate. And I asked my mom this later. My brother and I went, and she pulled this out, and she goes, I just didn't think you guys that interested. I was like, no, I loved it. No, I wrestled for 6 years. I wrestled all through high school, middle school, my whole family wrestled. So, jiu-jitsu is much different, but I know how to roll. I know how to grapple. And it's not that I'm going in there trying to, become the next champ. It's just something to do with a work. I'm so interested by it. I really am so interested by it. And every time I walk by it, I see a lot of people in there. Shout out to Hurricane Jiu-Jitsu. That's what it's called. It's right there in Warren Village, Hurricane Jiu-Jitsu. And every time I walk past, I'm like, I think I want to sign up for it. There's a day I'm going to go in there. I know. There'll be a day I go in there.
All right.
But it's a really interesting sport. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. That's just a crazy thing, and we'll have to see what happens with the Craig Jones Invitational.
You can't go head-to-head, man.
Going head-to-head.
Because what you want to do is get Gordon Ryan to show up.
Yeah.
But do it in a week later or do it some other time or something like that. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. He's gotten a lot of people to flip commitments. I guess he's grappling.
He has? He has gotten some people to show up.
He's gotten a bunch of people to show up.
All right.
And then I think he's doing a super grapple match against some chick that's won a lot of...
A big thing in jiu-jitsu is there's open tournaments and stuff like that. They make their money is Nicky Lopez one of the other guys that Gordon Ryan's always bitching at? I think Gordon Ryan, Gordon Ryan's he's out there in his own right. I'm not saying that he's not.
This Craig Jones character is as well.
Nick Rodriguez is another one that he's always yelling at. I'll put it this way. Gordon Ryan, in 166 matches, he is 154, 9, and 3 in his career. That'll be just fine. But he's been out of the game for a while. He's been battling. He has stomach problems all the times or whatever. And if you ever see Gordon Ryan, it'll take you 2 seconds to realize, and he's pretty open about it. He is juiced to his.
Yeah.
Just roid because they don't care.
No,
they can roid all they want. He's a scary.
That's crazy.
He's a scary guy.
Yeah,
scary guy.
Short lifespan. On those individuals.
Better watch what you say. Or
yeah. Geez, somebody will come up to Burke and put me in a headlock. All right. Elsewhere,
hey, future event, big play event. We've done boxing. Maybe we get into the jiu-jitsu game a little bit here.
No, we got to go back to boxing.
All right, we'll do that.
I'm stuck on that.
I'll be ringside for that.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, last thing. Dov Kleiman.
I am so glad you brought this up because no joke, I'm going to message Ben Axelrod. I want him on the show tomorrow. They've done this deep dive on this Dov Kleiman guy. So it really came to a head with this Mark Davis professional dancer story. Mark Davis is 60-odd some years old. He's like a lot of billionaire people. He's creepy and he dates really young people. Okay. So apparently he was dating this girl, right? Walk me through this, Nick. Tell me if I'm wrong. He was dating this girl, right?
She claims they were never dating.
So she says they never were.
She said she said she doesn't even know him.
Okay.
She was just photographed in his suite.
She is pregnant. It now comes out that it's Joey Gallo's kid, a baseball player. But there was reports that it was Mark Davis. So then there's Dov Kleiman, who is an aggregator on Twitter. He built a platform on doing nothing but literally taking Adam Schefter and Diana Rossini and Ian Rappaport and Matt Miller and just taking their tweets, literally copying them, putting a graphic in it, tweeting it out, and saying, oh, by the way, credit to whoever. And he's built thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands
200.
of followers.
I think he's closing in on 300.
Well, then it comes to, there's two schools of thought. Because number one, the biggest issue right now is that apparently he sold his account. Apparently for Bitcoin, which is not shocking. But the other side is the journalistic integrity that he is kind of defying. Where if Adam Schefter sends something out that is wrong, he will, to a point, lose his job. If Ian Rappaport says something, people take that as gospel. What Brian Windhorst says, people listen and take that as a truth. If they come out with inaccuracies or even worse, fabricated stories, they will lose their job. That's not Dov Kleiman. He just runs a Twitter account.
He's not real. Dov Kleiman, I don't think exists.
So they said originally it was some guy that was living in Israel. And he just started this account.
And like his name wasn't Dov.
Right.
Like, that was just the name that he came up
with. So that's like, and Nick, you're so much more into social media. You're so much better at social media than me. But like, there is this line that gets blurred about, even if somebody sends it out, they go, oh, I wasn't reporting that. Oh, really? Because it seems like you were. And then I'm going to yell at the people out there. People are idiots. They're so gullible that just when they see it on social media, they just assume that it's true. And it's not, I guess I shouldn't blame the people on, but there is no repercussions for these other people. What I do here, what Nick does, if I came on the air digitally, so to speak, and even if I tweeted stuff that I said, I didn't want to say something, right? The Myles Garrett this or Deshaun Watson that or Jose Ramirez this, and it's something completely untrue, I will get in trouble. I will potentially lose my job. And do you want to know what? I would fire myself because I have that level of this is my job, this is what I do. Dov Kleiman doesn't live by that. No joke, bro, and it's not that it matters, and I'm never one of these. I hate these people. I'm going to stop watching this show. Just stop watching the damn show. I unfollowed him. I'm sick of that crap. And I used to follow him because he was a good source of, again,
it's a good aggregated,
it brings everything together.
But he is kind of a...
It's jumped the shark. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's jumped the shark. Because he even probably started smelling his own stuff. Going, oh, well, now I'm an insider. No, you're not. No, you're not. You just were retweeting stuff from Schefter and all these other people.
So I think the story goes that he was just a Tom Brady fan, and then he built up this big NFL account, just covering kind of Tom Brady.
Did he pay for followers? That stuff always gets dicey for me. Of like, you could go buy followers all the live long day.
No, he didn't. Because and if you scroll through the account as it exists today, like even after all this controversy, like the engagement's real. Like this guy's pulling in millions of impressions
and that's important. And we all know it is.
The monetization on his account, like ever since Elon started doing that, I bet you this guy's made six figures.
Sure, but he sold it for he sold it for like $70,000.
So that's actually my buddy who's a friend of Big Play, Jack Settleman, tried buying it, and he and he floated out the price of $75,000, and Jack was like, that's kind of like not worth it.
Yeah, but then again, you talk about what you're going to get back in there. But it's this kind of finicky stuff where I don't think he's going to lose 300,000 followers overnight, but this kind of stuff is what is going to kind of like hamper that, right?
Yeah,
why don't you and I just start our own? Well, let's just start our own truthful journalistic integrity aggregator.
It'd take forever.
Well, not only that, we'd have to be up 24 hours a day.
Yeah. I was going to
You'd have to have alerts on.
Yeah.
For literally every single, if we just did NFL, you'd have to have alerts on for everybody. Your phone, you'd be sitting down 10, 12 hours a day just sending tweets out.
So, Matt, his DMs are open, and I'm sure.
I'm sure they were full over the last couple of days.
After this all blew up, I was thinking about DMing him because somebody bought this account.
Somebody
it's not the
runs
original
it.
guy.
It's not an AI. Somebody runs that account.
It's not the original guy either. We don't think. I was going to DM and see if it was up for sale.
So
if after all this, if he'd be willing to just cleanse his hand of it for like $10,000.
Yeah.
Because it'd probably be worth, that'd be a great investment.
Well, again, assuming it's not the actual guy anymore, that it's some sort of conglomerate, that maybe this deal just went bad. I'm going to DM Ben Axelrod because he works at Awful Announcing. Ben, they did a deep dive into this. Like they've tried to go through sources to figure out who this guy is. I'm glad he brought it. I think it's one of the most interesting stories in sports right now.
It is.
I think it's really
is, 'cause
interesting.
nobody knows who it is.
And like to think about where we're at in life, like in our world, that a social media account that nobody knows who the fuck it is.
Yep.
And we're sitting here and it's one of the biggest stories going. I'll always, and and it's something that literally, I started when Twitter was really starting to take off. So I had to learn the hard way often about fake accounts, and that's why I'm so pissed that they changed the Blue Check, man. And I know they got the other one, but like it was easy to go, this is Adam Schefter. It's not Adam Schnefter.
Yeah.
It's not Adam with 2 M's Schefter. Like,
Adam underscore Schefter.
I just block them because I've gotten had before. 1,000% I've gotten had before.
So Dov has 289.7K followers, and he was asking $75,000 for that account.
Reflog got? Yeah.
Reflux got 583.3K.
Can I steal like just 10,000 of those? Can I steal some of those?
That's crazy.
I want to get. You and I have talked about this. I fell below 20,000 when they did a cleanse. It bothered me.
Yeah. The bot cleanse.
I'm like,
do a giveaway.
25. Literally, I'm 25 people away from getting back to 20.
Do a giveaway. Give away a City Connect jersey or something.
I don't want to buy one. I did just buy concert tickets, and if we can't go, then maybe I'll just give them away on there.
There you go.
Can I do that? Can I just do that? Like if I own the tickets, I can do what I want with them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll buy some Guardians tickets or something. I don't know. I want to get above 20. Just how about this for free? Just go follow me at Matt Fontana 83. Come on now, get the follow. By the way, just this offseason, before we do the Immaculate Grid, great stuff, Nick. Great stuff on the morning update. This offseason alone, Devontae Smith 3 for 75. Amon-Ra Brown 4 years, $120 million. AJ Brown 3 for 96. Nico Collins 3 for 73. Jalen Waddle, 3 for 85. Jerry Jeudy deal looking pretty damn good right now, doesn't it? Amari Cooper's deal looking pretty damn good. Now, I'm not saying those guys. Well, actually, I would put Amari Cooper in some of those categories there. Jerry Jeudy's one that he's probably sitting there like, damn it. He just held out a little bit longer, man.
He had to know.
He's not getting 90, but like.
He had to have known.
Nico Collins, 370. That just came in a couple days ago.
After like what, one? And I'm not trying to. I love Nico. I would love to have Nico Collins in Cleveland.
Throttled our ass.
1 year. Off of 1 year. Again,
it's probably
catch me taking my bar exam.
It's the escalation, because they sit there and they go, "What's it going to be in 3 years? What's it going to be next year?" Think about that, man. Just on that, I'm going to do quick math here.
That's why I got to buy a house, Matt, too. Like,
don't get me started on the housing market right now. We're looking, too.
Yeah,
We've been looking. I am a homeowner. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You got people coming up with cash.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, we looked, and like our realtor said, apparently the new thing, and maybe you just have to go ask your parents, there's a lot of millennial parents that buy the house for their kid. They give them their inheritance early, and they just go buy it with cash. Dude, we're getting
inheriting nothing but debt. Sorry,
I love my parents to death, and they paid for my college, and I love my parents. I don't want that. It's not on my parents to pay for my life. It's not. But like seriously, our realtor keeps saying, because we would put offers in at asking.
Oh, bro,
and you're getting smoked. You're getting smoked.
I would, dude, Matt. Well, maybe not a conversation. I don't know if my real estate agent would care, dude. We went significantly above asking on one. Significantly above asking.
What happened? If you don't mind telling.
Smoked.
Yeah, because they come in with cash.
Yeah.
Or
with cash significantly above.
Yeah.
And then if that can't get approved by the bank, they just we'll just cover the
That's okay.
difference.
We'll cover it. It's no big. Right. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll cover the difference.
I'm like,
and then even when the appraisals come in and they go, yeah, that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
All right, I didn't mean to derail.
No, it's a dicey world right now. It's dicey right now. A little dicey when we get to the Immaculate Grid. You want to do it now? Or you want to catch a break?
Up to you.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the Immaculate Grid. Let's get to it. Football is where it's at. Oh, you want to do baseball?
I got a baseball one up. I can pull
up.
All right,
pull it up. I want to just take a look.
All right. Yeah, we'll
take a look. Here it is.
Well, how do they?
Sorry, wrong one. All good. There it is. We just have throw some music under this if you don't mind. Which one?
I think this one. That's timeout.
Is that timeout? Try the other one. I'll know it when I hear it.
That's morning up.
Yeah. No, try morning
That's
update. That's the fancy.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. All right, this sounds good. We usually just do football. We usually always do football. Do you feel good about baseball?
No,
all right, go up, scroll up, and see men's basketball real quick. See the NBA. Do you feel good about that one? Actually, I kind of do. But let's go football. We've been doing football. We've been rocking football.
All right.
All right, so here's how it goes. We will accept your help today, as always. Got to go up and down, left and right. One guess, 9 minutes. Padone's got it. I'm here. Hang on. Go. All right, what jumps out? So 50 career sacks.
That's a lot.
Bruce Smith, clearly for the Buffalo Bills.
I've
there.
never done this before. So
Okay,
what do
so
I do?
here. Okay, so I'll pause this. I don't want to. We got a 9-minute time limit here. We got to. So basically, we need a Bills Giants player. Anybody that's played, you just have to play
I
one
type it
game.
in?
Yeah. So what you do? Go over all the way to the right. So what you need is a Bills Saints, and then you need a player for the Bills to get 50 sacks. So if you click on the 50 sack one there.
This?
No, go down. Like there. Click there. Now type in Bruce Smith.
Hey now.
Now, which one? What are the years?
85 to 2003 or
That's-
45 to 48.
Yeah, no, not that guy. The first one. Click on that, and now we're in.
Boom.
Now that's in. Now we only get 9 guesses.
I like this.
We only get 9 guesses, so we will debate and argue back and forth. Sometimes I Google, and we try to fill the bracket in the best we can. All right, so I'm going to restart.
This is
so
tough.
So usually what we do is let's go with the ones that, like, you know right away. So let's just knock out 50 career sacks, right?
Yeah.
So San
Niners?
Francisco, I don't think Nick Bosa has 50 yet. So that
Might be
one's...
close.
Who's a great San Francisco pass
Yeah,
rusher?
defender. It might be Bosa.
You think he's got 50?
Are you gonna Google?
Do you want me to Google it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been... dude, when did he get... Didn't he get drafted in, like, 2019?
Yeah, so he's been, and that's longer than you'd think. That's 4 years ago.
He's got 53 and a half. Nick
Yeah.
Bosa works. All right,
That's
go Nick Bosa. Now, the Bears are another one that I'm like...
Wait. Oh, that's Joey Bosa.
Yeah, Nick Bosa. Go Nick Bosa. All right, there we are. So then the Bears, again, I can't. No, okay, I'll tell you this. Here's another little thing. They don't have to have 50 career sacks with that team. It's just got to be they have 50 career and some
played for the Bears.
sometime
That's kinda
played for the
dumb.
Bears. But I can't think of a Bears defensive end. Oh, Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack. All right, go Khalil Mack. Good. All right.
All right, we're
Now, okay, so now here's another clutch point of
so
us.
then this, like, we need.
So
somebody-
just open your minds here. Like Saints 49ers, I think Ted Ginn Jr. works there, does he not? There we go. Friend of Big Play, Ted Ginn Jr.
Come on, Teddy.
There we go. All right.
Teddy
All right,
in the grid.
Now we're off.
All right.
All right, Saints.
Saints and Bears, I think, could also be Ted Ginn
It
Jr.
probably could be, actually. Damn it. All right. So that's another game, too, of like, all right, let's put this guy here, but we can't figure out another one there. All right. Now we're into this. Quarterbacks, Fitzpatrick, Bills, but I don't think he ever played for the Saints or the Giants.
No.
Bears, Giants.
It's also such a random assortment of teams.
I know. And there are teams that we always struggle with Washington.
Yeah,
We
Washington.
never really do well with Washington. All right. Okay, Bears Giants is speaking to me.
Same.
For a receiver. For some reason, I'm thinking of a receiver there.
Bears, Giants.
Kenny Galladay? No.
Was he on the Bears?
I don't think so.
No, he was Detroit.
Yeah,
The Giants and
Detroit. Yeah, got a
Um,
fat contract from the Giants that they regret.
Giants and Bears. There was a receiver, though. It's not.
Devin Hester doesn't work because he played Bears, but I don't think he ever went to the Giants or the Saints.
No.
Right? Wait a minute. Why do I picture Devin Hester in a Saints uniform? Here's the other thing that'll get you on the grid here. You start to believe it in your head,
Yeah.
even though it's not true. Like you picture Devin Hester in a Saints
I don't know
jersey.
that he ever played for the.
He didn't. So I'm glad. Okay, so we're out on that.
Yeah. Bears and Giants.
And again, it's like we get locked in, but if anything else kind of comes to fruition here, just kind of opens your mind. Like quarterbacks is usually where we make or kickers if you're really good on getting up on kickers.
Yeah.
Today's a tough one though.
How about who's the dude that messed up Parkey? No.
I don't think so.
He was not with the Saints.
He was with the Saints.
Yeah.
Cody Parkey kicked for the Saints. I don't know. Did he kick for the Bills?
Oh, he kicked with the Bears.
Did he? All right.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me you're right. Bears works there. I feel semi-confident about him with the Saints.
Okay.
By God, it works. Cody Parkey. Cody Parkey.
0.2%.
Come on, Drew. That we don't really care about the rarity score, but it helps a lot. Cody Parkey, good pull. All right.
Nice.
Back into it now.
That's big.
All right.
All right.
You'd like to finish out Saints Bills here. That'd be nice to finish that out.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Saints players of the past. Marcus Colston, remember him?
Yeah.
Shockey, Jeremy. Shockey would have worked Giants Saints, but we don't need that one. Jimmy Graham never played in Buffalo.
No.
Oh my God. Running back. Shady McCoy. No. I'm getting Shady McCoy never played
for the the Saints. They've had to share some running backs though.
That's what I'm thinking. There's got to be one. No. Good pull though.
Ingram never played
Ingram,
for
no.
Shoot.
There's somebody like Shady McCoy, a player like that.
Which could work for. How does Frank Gore not fit any of these?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't.
I don't
only
think
played
he does.
for
Yeah.
Buffalo of the teams in this mix.
No, he played for San Francisco too.
Did he?
Yeah. He started in San Francisco, but again, we don't need that. We need the Giants. He did go to the Jets. He went somewhere else later, but no. Saints Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman.
Maybe. I don't know that Peterman ever played for the Saints.
I don't know. He's just such a journeyman.
Same like
Bills, Saints. He also works for Saints Bears. But I don't know if we would use Parkey anywhere else. So we're good on that.
Yeah, we're good.
He went Bills, Raiders, Bears, Saints for Nathan Peterman.
Oh, so we could put Peterman here?
Wait, where? Did I say Bills?
Yeah.
Did I say Saints with him?
Yeah.
Did I? So I was right. Hang on. Drafted by the Bills. By God. Oh, no. He just got there. So it doesn't count because he's got to play a game.
Oh,
he just got there this season.
That's
he
kind of
signed
dumb.
in March. Yeah, doesn't count because he hasn't played a game yet.
That's kind of
And
dumb.
I always say Josh McCown in this situation, but he's actually never played for the Saints. He just coached for the Saints.
Yeah.
So I always bring him up in this, but it doesn't work. Did Fitzpatrick play for the Saints? Because obviously he's perfect
I don't know
for
that
the
he
Bills.
ever did.
I don't think he did either.
I'm struggling.
I know. This is a tough one for us today. This is a tough one here.
I'm even like I've kind of tabled that, and I'm stuck.
We move on to some other ones.
I'm
and
stuck on this Giants because there is somebody here that's so obvious.
I know.
And
So here's what we do when we're done. We'll give up eventually if we don't get it. You can scroll down. You'll click on it, and it'll give you the list of the answers, and we'll sit there and just kill ourselves.
So like if I scroll down right now,
you can't do it. You have to give up first. I'm gonna go. We use YouTube comments here. Let's see if we have any. I'm opening up the YouTube.
Probably people.
Angelo, Tyrod Taylor, Giants, Bills. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush works for the Saints. Thank you, Angelo. Again, Jimmy Graham.
All right, hold on.
All right,
we got
Tyrod Taylor.
Let's watch that one go green.
Yeah. I think he actually would have worked there.
And then we
Jimmy
got
Graham, Bears, Saints. Oh, yeah, that would. I mentioned Jimmy Graham earlier, but we got Cody Parkey.
Yeah, we got Parkey there.
All right, good.
We need somebody for Bills Saints.
Yeah. Bill Saints. He brought up Reggie Bush. I think it had to have been Saints, maybe 40. Saints Bills? Does Reggie Bush work there? Does he? Angelo, bailing us out here.
No kidding.
Let me see here. By God, he played for the Bills and the Saints. Reggie Bush. All right. Angelo and Charles always help us out on this. Appreciate you.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Appreciate your help there. Let me check Twitter.
Down to 2.
All right, down to 2. The final 2 here for us.
This is fun. I like this.
Oh, I love the grid. It put so like I've had people tell me they hate the grid because they just sit here and watch us struggle. But I know there's people sitting at home running the same thing. These should be attainable, man.
Yeah.
All right, Jay Cutler, no. Kyle Orton, I don't think so. Like Bears running backs, man. Because again, we go through eras. Like I can't even think of 2010 Bears players.
No, they were so bad.
Braden Marshall? Did he play for the Giants?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Broncos, Bears.
Yeah, not.
Brandon Marshall.
Yeah,
No, he does. Broncos, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, Giants, Seahawks, and Saints. Brandon Marshall's all
Guaranteed.
over this, man. Hell yeah, throw him in there. Brandon Marshall is
All right,
correct.
Good call out there.
All right,
I like that.
all right.
Wait, which one?
Wait, which one? What years?
2006 to 2018.
That's him. That's
Yeah.
him. That's him. I
There we
wish
go.
they show you the position on
Yeah.
there. All right.
Or even like the photo. Like I know that's him.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right, we're down.
Lineman. Is there a line? We never get linemen on this
Yeah,
show. We
that's
never
tough.
get one in there.
Giants Niners.
Oh man.
I feel like there could be.
Linebacker. Defensive back.
Oh, defensive back. Why am I?
Jimmy Ward.
No. Man, who's?
I know.
I feel like it's somebody somewhat recent. Like,
Brian Hoyer.
No.
No Giants.
No Giants. I don't.
He's
been everywhere,
He's
though.
been everywhere. I know that he played.
It works.
No, Cole McCoy.
Oh my
Cole
God.
McCoy. Cole McCoy. Right. Wait. Am I misremembering Cole McCoy? Did he play for the 49ers?
No, I think I remember that.
All right.
I don't
Brian
remember him
Hoyer
on the
does not-
Giants though.
Oh, I remember on the Giants. I know he's on the Giants. So if you know that he's on the 49ers, Colt McCoy, let it rip. Let's see what we got.
I don't want to be the reason.
I
it
know.
messes
It's
up.
welcome to the hell of the grid. Yeah, let's go. Nice. Man, Angelo saved our ass today.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, let's go. Yes.
All right, so we could have also gone Von Miller, Andy Dalton.
Oh my God.
Andy Dalton's super obvious.
Wait, Andy Dalton for Saints Bears. By God.
We went with Cody
Parkey. I mean, that's a pull right there for you, buddy. Well done.
Emmanuel Sanders. That's kind of an obvious.
You know, we
one.
always forget about him, but again,
Yeah.
well-traveled. Extremely well-traveled.
Matt Breida, another option.
Oh, yeah.
That's the running back that we
Yeah,
were blanking
that's the
on.
running back that we couldn't think of. You're right.
And then,
All right,
Terron
well
Taylor.
done, Nick. First
That's
job in.
immaculate
Well
grade.
done. Good cover. All right,
Boom.
well done. All right, I'm going to let's push the break aside because we're already at 45. We're way late. Let's jump into a little bit of timeout, please. Thank
All
you
right,
very
let's
much.
do it.
Let's do it. All right, we start. We go back this day 1 year ago, 2023. Deshaun Watson at OTAs. He said he would love to add DeAndre Hopkins. Remember all that? He was talking to him. I didn't want D-Hop.
You did it?
No.
Man,
just
I
thought
was
he was
so
a little-
in on that.
I know. A lot of people were. And he had a solid year. Like, I just didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze. He also said, Watson 1 year ago today said he was very motivated to go out there and prove to people the type of player that he was. And there was a lot on his shoulder. Bad pun because he heard it. I get it. There was a lot on him to regain form. Now, that is even more, like, even more now this year. And a lot of people, just to go off, again, 1 year ago, and I'm sure Watson would say the same thing today, right? Like, I want to go out there and prove who I am and that kind of stuff. And there are people who want to jump on this, Nick, that go, he got his money. What does he care? And I go, do you think he wants to go down as the worst trade in NFL history? Like, I know it's maybe Russell Wilson at this point, but, like, you don't want that stink on you. And I believe that Deshaun Watson didn't get to where he's at today without being competitive and wanting to do this. And also, yes, he got this big chunk of cash. Don't you want to do it again? Don't you? And greed is a sin, and I get it. But, like, I guess I don't think I'm built any different than anybody else. Bro, if somebody walked in here today, if Ken Miles and his horse and Seize the Gray won it again, and Ken walked in here, he goes, Matt, I'm going to give you $100 million. I would go, wow. But the work starts now. One of my favorite sayings in my professional career, the work starts now. When we got this show, when I got to do ESPN, the work starts now. So, like, he got that deal. I would hope that he's got the same mindset of, all right, I'm just going to do everything I can now. I don't have to worry about security for my family. I don't got to worry about my house. The work starts now. And I call me naive, Nick. I just think that's where Deshaun Watson is at. If it were up to him, he'd be playing great. He'd be playing awesome. The injuries, the pressure, that. And you want to know what, too? All of that is true. I still don't care. I need him to play well, and if he doesn't, we're going to move on.
Yeah,
I know he has the best intentions, but I don't care.
I think he's working. I mean, we see the videos that he posted on his Instagram, and there's no doubt that he rehabbed hard, and we see his camp and the people
looks
that
good.
the work comes first, is his kind of thing. I don't put any doubt that the work isn't coming first before the trips to Saudi Arabia and the cheesecake stores that are opening up.
The
Or not
meme-
cheesesteak, but cheesesteak.
Yeah, sounds good. I'd go for a good cheesesteak. That meme of, like, the running back tweet is like, like getting ready to get work in, or the quarterback tee.
Ryan loves that.
Yeah, Ryan loves it. On the wide receiver one is always something about you getting killed by somebody, or like a God quote or something like that. Yeah, that's where.
Yeah. So like I'm not doubting that Deshaun's working hard.
Right. No. Yeah. 100%.
That's great, but you need to work hard and then have some results.
You gotta have results. I remember this day because it just sent not even Cleveland sports into a tizzy, but it was the biggest story going for the state of Ohio because Jim Tressel resigned at Ohio State this day 2000. Can I tell you about my day that day, Nick?
Let's hear about it.
So at that time,
Wait, what year was this?
2011.
Okay.
I had just graduated college. I was working at ESPN Cleveland, and this happened. And my boss called me, and I'd worked the morning. I had an earlier shift, and they said this news broke. Get in the company van with Munch and Kenny Rhoda and get down there as fast as you can so we could do the afternoon show. Kenny was on in the afternoon, and Munch was coming with him. And we get there, and we're set up in like this atrium, and Paul Keels comes by. We talk to him, and it was just this giant breaking news that they actually got rid of Jim. I know he resigned, but the tattoo scandal, the Terrell Pryor stuff, and you basically fired your son. You know, that was Ohio State letting go of Jim Tressel. What a day that was. And then the worst part was we were there for maybe, 6-7 hours. I got back in the van. Kenny and Munch fell asleep about 5 minutes. I didn't even make it out of Columbus. I didn't make it past Bexley or whatever, Sunbury. And they're asleep. And I got to drive back for 2 hours by myself in this van where my foot, it didn't have cruise control.
I probably drove that same van a decade
You were there with me.
decade
later. It was all wrapped, the blue one. You remember that piece of crap?
A decade later, I probably drove that same exact van.
And my foot was just on this crux for 2 hours to keep it on the, just on the speed. Oh my God. I remember that trip like it was yesterday. But Jim Tressel resigned this day, 2011. This day, 1986, Barry Bonds made his major league debut. I didn't get to that baseball story I was going to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Hold that. I'll do it in a second.
All right.
Barry Bonds makes his debut this day, 86. This day, 1982, Cal Ripken began his consecutive game streak. Starting this day, 82, he went 2,632 straight games. Ryan, from May 30th, 1982, he played every game until September of 1998.
That's awesome.
Never be touched. Never be touched. And I know there were games he needed to not play and broken fingers and this and that, and they still put him out there for the novelty of the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
But that'll never be touched.
One of the most untouchable records probably across.
I got another one for you in Time Hop we'll get to in baseball. But we need one here. Speaking of untouchable, Dennis Eckersley threw a no-hitter for the Indians this day, 1977. Beat the Angels 2-0. We still don't have one since Large Lenny Barker's perfect game.
Yeah.
You believe that?
It's coming soon. We've gotten so close a few times.
And
I thought Tristan McKenzie had it a couple years ago.
And we've had ones. Bauer took one to the 8th inning. Like, we've been close. And go figure, Kluber throws one for the Yankees after he leaves here. It is a lot of circumstance. It's a lot of luck. And sometimes it is people like Dallas Braden that throws a perfect game. Like, you just got to be lucky. I think it is so shocking with the talented pitchers that we've had that we've not thrown not even a perfect game. We haven't had a no-hitter since 1981. 1981. But Eckersley did it this day, 77. This day, 1935, Babe Ruth would make his final appearance. He batted once, grounded out, and would retire after that. I mentioned a record that'll never be touched. This day, 1927. Walter Johnson recorded his final shutout in his Major League Baseball career. That gave him 110 shutouts in his career.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who the active leader is right now in baseball?
It's got to be like, who is it?
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
He has 15. 15. Walter Johnson finished with 110. The active leader is Verlander and Kershaw. They have 15. Clemens had 4. I'm trying to think of like recent ones. The closest recent one was Nolan Ryan, who finished with 61. Roger Clemens had 46. But still think about it this way. He was still 40 short. Almost 50 short of the record. That'll never be touched.
Never
be touched. Never be touched. And again, Clemens on this list, he's the only guy that's pitched within the last 20 years. Like, Sandy Koufax is on there. Jim Palmer, but I mean, those are a little bit older. Tom Seaver's on this list, but they're older. That'll never, not in today's day and age, never be touched again. This day, 1911, the first ever Indianapolis 500 was held. Ray Heron won in a 6-hour, 42-minute race that he averaged a speed of 74 miles an hour. They qualified at 229 miles an hour this past year. But that was the first ever Indy 500 this day, 1911. Did you also know that they had riding mechanics with them? They would get into these cars on bricks, because that's the brickyard, and they'd be driving. They had a guy in their car that would, like, launch out the side of their car to fix a wheel or something.
Sounds like me on my way to work this morning.
Right, exactly. There you go. And then this day, 1431, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake for heresy. Wow. Don't do that. Bad idea. Heresy, not a good thing. Birthdays, PJ Carlesimo, Billy Donovan, Manny Ramirez, former Browns wide receiver Greg Little.
Greg Little.
You remember Greg Little with the parking tickets?
Yeah.
Yep, that was him.
My dad would always say, Greg Little does very little.
Yeah, that's a good one there.
That's a dad joke if I've ever heard.
That is a pretty good one. I respect that. CeeLo Green, Idina Menzel, Mel Blanc of Disney fame. He did all the Mickey Mouse and all that kind of stuff. And Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine. I know you're excited for this. I have 2 movies that you have to guess on that came out this day in history.
I'm horrible.
Well, we'll see. This day, 2019. I'll lay it up for you. This is an Academy Award-winning film about a family that lives in a house of another family, and they don't know they're there. You see it?
No.
Parasite. Did you? Great, trippy flick, man. It's a Korean film, and it was shocking.
Ooh, I might have to check that
Dude,
out.
I'm telling you. It's about this family that lives in, like, a lower-income area. They infiltrate this rich people's house. They move the whole family into their basement. I don't want to spoil the big plot twist that's coming. It's long. It's a good flick. Parasite is its name. You will get this one. We go back this day, 2003.
I might not get it.
A father loses his son and treks across the ocean.
Nemo!
That is correct. Finding Nemo. Give yourself a little credit there, Nick. A little credit. Finding Nemo. This day, 2003.
That's crazy.
Quick thing on baseball. CBS Sports. Matt Snyder, love his name, don't like his take. And his take is, and the whole point is, it's a great thing that baseball is doing. They're integrating all the stats from the Negro League, and this is long-standing, should have been done. But then he talks about how you have all these awards. Jackie Robinson, Rookie of the Year, right? Like the Cy Young Award. Why is the MVP not named after a player? And it's not that his take it should be, who are you going to name it after? The guy that has seven MVPs, the most in baseball history, you don't want to acknowledge him. I asked you, is this my trivia question? We're getting to it way late. We have no time. We got to get to our trends for tonight, too. I guess we really don't need to end at 10 o'clock, right? We'll do whatever. Or 11 o'clock.
Go as long as
I'm
you
not going
want.
to keep y'all. I'm not going to keep you all day. But real quick, if you had to guess, Nick Padone, with 7 MVPs, Barry Bonds has the most.
Yep.
How many do you think I just gave it to you. How many do you think the next person has?
I was going to guess 4, but
3.
Yeah.
Trout, Pujols, A-Rod, Mike Schmidt, Mickey Mantle, Campanella, Yogi Berra, Stan Musial, Joe DiMaggio, Jimmy Fox. 3. You're talking about more than double the next amount. Would you then not name it the Barry Bonds Award? Why does Bill Russell have that? Because he has the most. You're not going to acknowledge him. So who are you going to name it after? Mike Trout?
The Mike Trout Award.
The Mike Trout Award? He'll win another one, maybe. Like, I thought that was kind of a loon idea out there. All right, you want to get to our wagers for tonight? Let's get to tip.
Yeah,
Here's what I'll do. Let's do this. Let's talk through our trends.
Okay.
Give me what you like.
Okay.
We'll do our boost. We'll send a tip. We'll send it out on
And
social
it'll be
media
out
a little
tonight.
bit.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so here's where we're at. Minnesota is a 4.5-point favorite at home. Dallas trying to close it out. The over-under is a savory 208.5. Here we go. I start with Dallas. 10-5 against the spread their last 15 games. 5-1 straight up in their last 6, and they own Minnesota. 5-2 against the spread their last 7 against the Timberwolves, and the Dallas Mavericks are 4-2 straight up in their last 6 against Minnesota. How about on the road at Minnesota? Dallas is 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games when they play at Minnesota. Wow. Dallas 6-1 against the spread their last 7 road games in general. Over has hit 4 out of Dallas's last 5 games. Minnesota, quick, they're only 3-6 against the spread their last 9 games. 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games at home against Dallas. You want the curse here? Minnesota is 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games when they play as the favorite. I was leaning Minnesota. Over has hit 6 out of Minnesota's last 9 games and 4 out of their last 5 games at home. I think my play is the over. What do you like? 208.5.
I'll go with you on the over.
All right, let's do the over.
Because I don't want to pick. I don't
have a good vibe on
I like the Wolves too. I don't know why. I don't want to, but I do.
I don't know why. All right, let's take the over. We'll mix it up. Maybe 20 plus points for, what do you like, Luka? I like,
of course.
Yeah, Luka 20 plus. We'll dive into a Tipico. We'll send it out a little bit later. We'll get you boosted up there with Tipico using that code Fontana150. Well, Nick, I really appreciate you coming in this morning, man. We had a lot of fun. It was great.
It's been fun.
If you missed the show, go back at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter. Hey, a big night tonight for the Big Play Cincinnati guys.
Yeah.
They're having Logan Wilson on, right?
Huge.
He's got a softball game coming up. They air every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, so join the boys tonight. They got a big announcement. I think they have some merch to give away, too, tonight. So check that out. Just do this. Follow Big Play on Twitter. We retweet all of our shows, all of our clips. You can get the replay of our show there. And, of course, the big night tonight for the Big Play Cincy guys. Great stuff. Nick, appreciate you. We'll talk to you on Friday. Same time, same channel. For Nick Padone, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.